Alright, so this is my video for SOT, steps 1 through 8. We're going to start out with our P to A sway. Hold my thumb out. I'm looking for a 1/4 of an inch sway. If the patient's got it, it's going to be a category 1. I'm going to have you turn and face the wall. I'm going to do the same thing. It was the AC for the first one. This time it's going to be the S2 tubercle. I'm looking for lateral medial sway. If he's got it, it's a category 2. If he's locked up or in antalgic lean, it's a category 3. I'm going to have the patient sit in this chair. Okay, and we're going to wrap the trap, palpate the first rib. I'm going to have you flex and extend your head. Do that a couple more times. As he's doing this, I'm palpating for movement around the 1/4 of an inch mark again. If he has no movement and just if one rib is kind of locked down and not moving, we're going to call it category 2. If both ribs are locked down, we're going to call it category 3. And if both ribs are freely moving, it's category 1. Okay. That's a rib analysis. I'm going to have the patient lay up on his back for me. Make sure your head doesn't fall off there. Okay. So our next step that we're going to do is we're going to look for some cervical indicators, specifically C3 and C4. C3 is bilateral. If he's got pain and tenderness bilateral on C3, we're going to say category 1. If he's got left lamina of C4, we're going to say pain out that area. We're going to say is indicative of a category 2. Okay. After this, we're going to talk about the limit brothers relationship real quick. Okay, so if he's got some cervical indicators in the spinous processes, it's going to relate to a lumbar mammillary, and vice versa. If he's got some pain in the TVP area of the cervicals, it's going to relate to the spinous processes and the lumbar. And the Lovett brothers also came up with an idea that it was C1 to L5, 2 to L4, 3 to 3, blah, blah, so on up to T11. And those are interrelated, so that gives you an idea where you need to adjust and whatnot. What I'm going to have the patient do now, I'm going to hold his head in my hand. I'm going to have his put his feet together. I'm going to have him raise 18 to 24 inches off the table. Okay, I'm going to notice if that was hard or easy for him. And then I'm going to compact his head just a little bit, S to I, and have him repeat that. Okay? Good job. I'm going to have him relax. If it was easier when I was compressing, it's most likely going to be a cervical issue. If it was harder or still the same intensity, we're going to look at the lumbars, and that's where that whole Lovett brother thing's coming into play. Okay. So after this, I'm going to have the patient kind of just lay there. I'm going to do the basic 1, and so I'm going to lay my fingers on the inferior nuchal line next to the EOP out to the side. And what I'm doing before that, I need to do the stair steps. So if during our leg lengths we found an area and say it was a cervical, then I'm going to do a stair step 1 through 4 steps. So it's T1 to C7, 6 to 5, 4 to 3, 2 to 1. And those are our 4. We compact S to I, and we kind of just go up, lifting the jaw. And we're trying to feel for each position. We feel locking out, but smoothly transitioning thorough. If something happens say it's T1 to C7 and it doesn't feel like it's transitioning smoothly or it's not locking out, we're going to have anteriors T4 to T1. The rest of the time, on the rest of the steps, if they're the ones that are problematic, we're going to compact and we're going to do a figure 8 or infinity sign maneuver. Just immobilization, try to get some of those adhesions broken out. And that's how we're going to take care of that. Our next step, though, is we're going to balance out our patient. So we're going to put both of our hands under his inferior nuchal line, our fingers running along those, and we're just going to wait for both sides to equal out in breaths and pulses. So I'm feeling for both of my fingers to kind of equal out on both sides. After that, what we're going to do is our basic 3. So fingers coming down around the temporal lobe, and then our top thumbs are temporal sutures, and then our thumbs are going to cross over the parietal sutures. We palpate for pain. If he says he's got pain anywhere, then we're going to cross at that area. As he breathes in, we don't do anything, but as he breathes out, we kind of spread and lift, and we're going to do that for 3 breaths, okay? And that's going to help to balance him and clear out and get that CSF flowing around. That's what we really want, okay? So after this, we're going to have the patient raise his arms up. Okay, I'm going to take his wrist back, put my feet together even. I'm going to lean back, have your fingers point towards me. We're going to clasp his hands together. We're going to bring it out in front and have him look at it. And it looks like he's got a right tight psoas, and this tells if we have a tight psoas. So we're going to do, I'm going to have him come, I'm going to come over to the side, have him lift up this leg flat on the ground. Is it okay if I can stick my hand under your knee? Perfect. So I'm going to come over here under his knee, around that McBurney's point, but make sure that, you know, we're not going to inflame the appendix or anything. From the belly button to the ASIS, right in between. We're coming through here, stabilizing with the left hand, coming through here with the top, and we can actually join the other hand too. And then breathe in, and as he breathes out, we press down. One more time. And we press down even further. And when we get to that bottom point, we're actually going to try to do a little bit of cross friction, okay? And we're going to, after that's done, we're going to retest real quick. We should have cleared out some type of a psoas issue. So go ahead and raise your arms up. We're going to bring his arms back. Again, testing. My feet are even. Pulling there. Don't look at the hands, fingers out, extending. Clap them together. Make sure I didn't look. It looks like we're more even on that case. Perfect. So now I'm going to have the patient flip around. Beautiful. I'm going to have you up, scoot towards me just a little more. It's easier if his feet are hanging off just a little bit. We're going to grab around the heels. And now I'm doing for the iliofemoral ligament, right? So I'm going to rotate both ankles in, and I'm gauging for which one doesn't have as much internal rotation. We want them to be 45, but sometimes we're not, right? So here we go, and it looks like to me he's having more restrictions than the left, okay? So we're going to come over onto the contralateral side. I'm going to have the patient rotate your right leg all the way in as far as you can. I'm going to contact the iliofemoral ligament, back up with my hand, and I want you to rotate it out slowly. And as he's doing that, I'm just maintaining a strong contact. Go ahead and rotate it in again. Rotate it out. Perfect. And on this last one, I'm going to count to 3. I want you as quickly as you can rotate it out. And then I'm going to pull up 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Awesome job, bud. Okay, so that's that should clear an issue out. We should come back down here, reassess, and we should get a greater range of movement. And we do, and it's great. And it's going to 45. So our last test is our arm fossa test. So this one tells us if we have an arm fossa, but specifically it's going to go into another category observation. So if he doesn't have any problems, if it's a negative arm fossa test, it means it's a category 2, or a category 1, sorry. But if he has an arm fossa, it's a category 2, okay? So I'm going to have you raise your arm up, soft fist, hands to the side, don't let me pull down. Okay, so he's got a strong muscle, so we can do this test. Now, I'm going to turn around, and I need you to move your melon anatomy out of the way if you can. Let me know when you're done.
We're good.
Sweet. Palm on your umbilicus, reach down and find your pubic symphysis, tubercle, sorry, pubic tubercle. And I'm going to replace my hand with yours if that's all right. So we're from here to the ASIS, and we're going to have 2 zones, an upper and a lower fossa, and it's a 4-fingered contact. So again, we press down, then we tell him to hold. So this is press down and hold. All right, that's strong. Move down, press down, hold. Awesome. So he's strong both ways. And that's our last test, so that's my SOT video.